Hello everyone. In today's video, I will be teaching you how to bone rig a character or give them bones so that you can move the bones and create animations for your character. Alright, now let's get started. The first thing you'll want to do is add some bones. And you can do this by clicking Shift plus A and then clicking the single bone under armature. Now, you may notice that it looks like the bone is partially hidden within the mesh of the character. Now, to get it to where we can see it easily, you want to have the bone selected and you want to click X-ray. Now you can see it, but it's still positioned partially within the mesh, and you're going to want to center it. So let's take a side view and now we can center it. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. Now it's centered. And it looks like a backbone. But to allow this character to maybe bend their spine so they can look up or look down, we're going to want to add another bone for that. To do that, you're going to have your bone selected, then hit tab, and only have one end of it selected, and then click E for extrude. But to make sure it is going in the same direction as the other bone, you'll then hit Z, and this will pull another bone out in the same direction. Except this is kind of going into his head, so we're going to have another separate bone for the head, and we don't need it to go all the way up there. So what we're going to do is drag this one down a little bit, and this one too. There, right about there. And then we could make the arms. So click E again, and then Y. Move that down a little bit. And then hit E again. So this will be the upper arm, and then this other bone will be the lower arm. We're going to have to do the same thing for the other arm. This is a little bit high, so I'm just going to lower this down a little bit. And for the hands, I'm going to leave the hands alone just for a moment, because those may have fingers on them, and that's going to be a bit of a different process. Let's give them legs now. Well, before we give them legs, we're going to have to give them hips. E again, and then click Z. And these will be right about at his knees. And then now we give him his lower legs. And we'll want to give him some bones for feet. But he doesn't really have any toes, so we could give him these bones. Alright, now we give him hands, but he doesn't really see his fingers seem to be fused together. So we can really only give him a thumb, and it's kind of like a mitten. A thumb and one more bone for the main mitten part. Hit E again for extrude, and Y. E, and then X. And we'll do the same for this hand over here. Move it around just to make sure that you don't have any bones sticking out. This one's a little bit close to the top. So you want to move them down just a little bit. Now we'll give him his bone armature for his head. Click E again, and then Z. And this bone will move his head when we animate him. It's a little bit too close to the front, so I'm going to move it back a little bit. Alright, now that we've added the armatures or bones, we now have to name them before we can go on to assigning vertexes to the bones. So to do this, first we need to go to the active data section, which looks like this little stick figure, and then we click on names. And here it'll show you all the names it automatically gives the bones, but we're going to change that so it's easy for us to use. And to do that, we click on this little bone, and here we can select any bone and change its name. This one I'm going to call head, and this one will be upper right arm. And this one will be upper left arm. And this will be the lower left arm. And we'll likewise do the same to the other side. This will be the lower right arm. And this will be upper spine. And lower spine. I'll call this one right hip. And this one will be left hip. Now we're going to label the upper left leg. And do the same for the other side. We're almost done. Now we just need to label the hand and thumb part. So this will be right thumb. And this will be right hand. Alright, now we are done naming all of the bones. We can move on to the next section. In this segment, we will assign vertexes to the bones so that you can animate them and move them when you're in pose mode. The first thing to do is to join the bones with the body. To do this, you'll want to select your creature first. Now make sure you're in object mode. select your creature first, then select your bones at the same time by clicking Shift and right click on the bones. Now both will be selected, and it's important that you do it in that order. Now hit Control P and click with empty groups. Now you're going to want to find your bone groups so that you can begin assigning mesh to your bones. Let's first deselect this and then select the skeleton. Wait, the mesh. And here are all of our bone names. They are also alphabetized. Now, to begin assigning, you'll want to have your main creature mesh selected. Then you'll want to hit Tab. Make sure you're in the vertex data group. And then you can hit this, which will allow you to see the other vertices that may be hidden by the front of this object. And now you can begin selecting the vertexes of your creature to assign to the bones. I'm going to select the head first. It looks like it got all that we needed. And now I'm going to make sure I have head selected, and I'm going to click Assign. Now this will tell it to put all those points or vertexes and put them under the control of this bone, or at least the tip of this armature. We can even try to test it right now to see how it'll work. Let's rotate it around the y-axis. And you see, it moves the head, so he can shake his head, or he can shake it this way. Now you'll notice the mouth and the ears aren't following with it, but you can parent those to the same bone here, and I can do that later. But I wanted the main purpose of this video to demonstrate to you how to bone rig and move a character. Now I'm going to assign the rest of these vertexes. And when I finish, I will come back and I will show you guys how it moves when it's done.